This is Business Rockstars.
It's Ken Rakowski, and you listen to Business Rockstars. We get to connect you to everything that's entrepreneur. Hey, thanks a lot for listening. We know that you can listen to any one of those channels, any one of those shows that's sitting online or on your iPhone or Android or somewhere, but you hang out with us, so thank you very much. And we want to make sure that you know you're not alone, because you can start an idea, but you sit around thinking you're in a desert. But you're not alone. We're here to help you out, plus all the great people are here for you too. Just go to our website, businessrockstars.com. Check out our podcast over at play.it. And everything, man. You got to see what's on our YouTube. You know, on Facebook, we do 20 to 30 posts a day, just on Facebook alone. So go see what we have on social media and on the site. We've been doing the show. It's almost our 900th show of Business Rockstars. Now, I've been doing podcasting since the 90s, so I'm probably around 12 to 13,000 shows. Outlier. And that's what we get to hang out with, are people that are in the outlier space, meaning they are experts. They do it almost inherently of who they are. It's part of what they do. I want to introduce you to two people. I'm going to have them introduce yourself. What's your name, sir?
Will Henshall.
Will, you're always on the show, which is awesome.
Thank you, yes.
What is your cool factor?
Well, that's an interesting question. Thank you. You flew. My cool
Something
factor
you
is
have
that
the easy one.
I am equally left and right brain. So
Are you?
I've been an
You're
equally
ambidextrous, 100%?
Yeah, I'm equally a professional artist. I've been a professional artist and songwriter, and a professional inventor and technologist.
Well, I had you go first because I knew you'd come up with something. What is your name?
Glenn Hemanes.
And Glenn, what is your cool factor?
You know, I got out easy when you first asked me about. Actually, you didn't ask me about it. There was someone who was subbing when I was first asked. My excuse was the rings. I talked about doing the rings in Santa Monica, and I do that about 2 to 3 times a week.
When you say the rings, I mean, it's extensive. It's like a hardcore workout.
The traveling rings, yeah.
But that's your personal stuff, what you guys do. Now, on a professional level, we know, of course, we have you on the show every week.
Right.
And we talk about the flow state and what you're doing at Focus at Will.
Yeah.
Glenn, what's your focus in life?
Well, it's creative. We have a creative agency.
But you've really identified this whole idea of that the pitch and the deck, and they're
Right.
very important. And unfortunately, most people don't do it right.
Right. Yeah.
And I wanted to have this dialogue right now, because people that are listening, we have all done the pitch. We've all had the deck. You're there to really perfect it. Mm-hmm. But I wanted to go through some like nightmare stories that we've all gone through, or what you've seen, Glenn. Okay. Mm-hmm. So the first thing I wanted to say is, and tell me if you've seen this and maybe a solution around it. Okay. A deck that is only understood by the person that's presenting it.
Well, it's bad.
Have you ever seen that?
Sure.
Have you ever done that? Have you ever done that?
I've never done it, but I've seen it. Oh yeah.
No, you've seen this, right?
Yeah,
So,
absolutely.
Illustrate what we're talking about.
Well, a lot of times, if it's the person that say they're pitching a certain product, they understand it really well. I'm coming at it from the perspective of I don't understand pretty much whatever it is they are explaining to me, and that's actually an advantage, because if I understand it, then I know other people are going to understand it. So after I get their initial pitch, we'll go through and break it down and actually translate what's going to make sense to the audience that they're addressing.
What would be something you've seen in a pitch that is a nightmare, or you've gone through, or have you seen?
Oh, I've got one. It's a 10-second story. My previous startup, one of my startups was called Rocket Network. Cisco put $7 million into it.
Wow.
They asked me to set up a demo for John Chambers, who was the CEO, in front of their board members meeting and another meeting, where John was going to be on live. And this technology did live audio collaboration between different recording studios. So we had John on stage running a live audio session, and they wanted to do it live in real time. And we were using alpha software. I was like, and they insisted, and they just written me a check for $7 million. And so I sat on the side of the stage, just like, I'm not a religious man usually. I was like that.
Your brain. Did it work?
Yes.
But I think that right there, you're fortunate.
Oh, you're
Glenn,
telling me? I was lucky.
What your suggestion is rehearse.
Oh, absolutely.
Practice, right?
You have to. Yeah,
And
it's got to be natural.
Live. Don't do it live. Have a fake version of it live that doesn't rely on other stuff.
Well, it's called CAM, a CAN demonstration.
Yeah,
Sometimes
CAN,
CAN,
thank you.
and make sure it's ready to go. Because even Microsoft, if you remember, during CES days, when they would get things just wouldn't work, and we all laugh. But they didn't heed the lessons of which we all know.
Yeah.
It needs to be a demonstration that looks real, but it's simulated.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right? Have you done this inside some of the presentations to where it looks real, but it's not?
You have to. For a presentation, I haven't, but I did for a movie. I recreated a lot of graphics for the internet, so it looked like a live version. It looked like you were on the web.
Yeah,
it looked like Facebook and all those things. And we had to, we shot it all live.
So
Right.
Something I've been doing, but I notice people do it wrong, is when I go do a talk somewhere, let's say I'm going to Nova Scotia, which I love going to Nova Scotia in Halifax. And what I do is on my talk, I would have a Skype session. I'll have like our buddy Nolan Bushnell up there. I'll have Peter Goober, and I have all these people on the Skype live. So they're part of what's going on. I was really fortunate. I had good internet connection. Problem is, most of us think we're going to have good internet connection. Yeah. It doesn't always happen that way, right? Right? I mean, I went one place where they go, hang on, and I heard, do, 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 shh. I go, what? Oh, no! So I think having the simulation of being on the web is probably the best practice to fall back on, right?
Oh, absolutely.
So in what you do is you always make it look like it's already been done, and it looks like it's live, but it may not be.
Yeah, it has to be.
How about this? How about colors? Is there certain colors? I mean, right now you look like a leprechaun.
I'm matching my microphone too.
You are. You're popping over there. But do colors matter in a presentation? Like
Absolutely.
The backgrounds, not? How do you determine what's going to be right?
Well, there's a certain psychological aspect to colors. There are, if it's like, for example, blues tend to be more peaceful, greens tend to be more trusting. There's innovation. Apple, has used a lot of grays and whites,
red and silver,
and so that has a sense of high tech, but also reliability. So there's a combination of that, but I also think that there's another aspect to that. Like, it depends on your industry. I'm actually doing a couple projects right now in the construction industry, and there's a lot of very bold black, oranges, and yellows. That tends to be that color. So if you're talking to that audience, the colors are used to actually connect with them. They understand it emotionally, they can relate to it.
Colors. And what you're doing now, you work with sound.
Yeah, I work with sound, and there are palettes within sound that have a similar effect. Harsh sounds, quiet sounds, gentle sounds, complex sounds.
Have you ever done a presentation with sound in the background, kind of? When you see a movie, it's almost like part of what's going on. Have you ever done something like that?
Yeah, we've tried it, and it doesn't work very well in my experience for what I'm doing, because everybody responds differently to different sounds. So if you play a sound that is soothing to these people, it'll be incredibly annoying to these people, and then just like not work for these
Just get rid of it then, right?
Yeah, it's better to actually have no sound. And people who want to talk over music, they want to put a music bed over when you're actually doing a presentation. Don't
do that.
Yeah.
Another issue that I have found was when I go into a presentation and I have audio, and I realize I'm going to have to play it off my laptop, meaning they don't have any AV that's hooked up. There's no speakers, and it's a train wreck, right? And I don't know how to get around that.
Have it as a backup. Have speakers with you.
Bring speaker. I know you're smiling, but maybe
it's better is the fact that if you don't have to rely on anybody else, the AV or anybody, because you don't always know the area that you're going into. If you have time to go to the auditorium before and see how the AV setup is, that's great. Most people don't have that luxury. So basically, as much as an island as you can be, meaning that laptop and speakers and self-sufficient, the better.
Do you actually bring your own Pico projector or something like that? Have you done that, Will?
I've done that in the past.
Yeah. Brought your own projector,
my
just
own projector.
in case.
I usually take exactly what you're saying, because most places got a mic.
Right.
So right now I just put my little speaker here, and I put this mic on that, and go, here you go. That's
it.
It's worked.
Yeah. You put your mic on the. They've done that before too.
We've seen Guy Kawasaki with his 10 slides, 20 minutes long, 30-point font, right?
Yeah.
Is there a certain time parameter of how long a presentation should be if we're doing a pitch?
10 minutes.
10 minutes.
Yeah, well, 10 to 15 minutes.
I was going to say 11 minutes, but he bought me on 10. Yeah, 10 minutes.
Is that the magic number? Why is 10 it? Is it 10, then 10 minutes of a conversation?
It's usually about a minute a slide, and they're using around 10 slides.
10 slides.
That's the average.
You feel pretty comfortable with that, Will?
I'm more interested in the threes. I like to do sort of, you come out and you get everybody, and then, Oren Claff. You've had him on the show. I'm a huge fan. I actually hired Oren to tune me up.
Which worked.
Yeah. I literally went out 2 weeks later and raised a couple of $1 million on it.
I love that.
It was fantastic.
How much should a presentation cost somebody? Glenn, you should know this. How much do they earmark? How much do they budget?
I usually budget per slide, but I would say...
Which is what, 1,000 a slide?
You want to put in about at least $5,000, I would say, a starting place.
$5,000 for a deck.
Yeah.
That's the starting place.
Yeah, that's the
starting. And if it works, it sells.
Yeah.
Guys, again, I appreciate it. Will, people want to find you, where do they go?
I'm Will at folks@will.com.
It's good to have you here. Glenn, people want to find you. Where do they go?
kg-dynamic.com.
That's it. Awesome,
it.
guys. Hey, I also want to thank Brittany, who's on books the great guests on here. She's in the show all the time, meaning you meet the people that are here because she has found them, brought them here. She is essential and crucial to what we do. Brittany is one of the, I got to say, she's the heart, one of the hearts of Business Rockstars. All right, when we come back, we get to do mentoring. Mr. Scott Page is joining us. Ken Rakowski connecting you to everything entrepreneur right here on Business Rockstars.